sleeping on the Portland Trail Blazers. They were my pick to get out of the West. I still think they will get out of the West. So do not sleep on the Portland Trail Blazers. I think the addition of Ennis Cantor and Rodney Hood to go with McCallum and Lillard, I think they've been the most underrated team in the NBA all year. I'm going with the Portland Trail Blazers to win the West.
That was Sir Charles on Get Up saying the Blazers are going to win. Wait, what?
What's he doing?
The Blazers are going to win
What's he doing?
the West.
Charles, what are you doing?
Will Kane's in the building, everybody. How are we doing, Will?
I'm good. You know, they say, Charles likes to gamble. This is going to the roulette table and putting it all on a number, Right. I'll take 12. All of it. 12.
Max, is Chuck's take reasonable or ridiculous?
Charles Barkley's my favorite person on TV, right?
Yeah.
I think he's the greatest entertainer in the world. This is ridiculous. Yeah. This is ridiculous. Cantor is a really good scorer, right? Like, he's a really good offensive player in that respect. Cannot play defense. The whole key to the Blazers this year, whether they could really make a run, was Nurkic's development, right? Like, could he, because his trajectory, it's been up and down. If he could start truly ascending, they might be dangerous. And he was, and they looked dangerous, and then he got hurt. And even with him, they were not going to get out of the West. The Blazers got zero chance to get out of the West. Like, everyone else on every other team would have to get hurt. They're a good team. They'll make a little run. They cannot get past the Warriors. They cannot get past the Rockets. No, they can't get out of the West.
I agree, but I'm not going to call it ridiculous. And the reason why I'm not going to call it ridiculous is because I think in today's game, success is predicated on perimeter play, particularly from your guards. And right now we have Damian Lillard averaging 29.5 in the first two games against Oklahoma City, and with C.J. McCollum averaging 28.5. If those two guys were to do that, and clearly we don't believe that they would, but if those two guys were to do that, that gives them a chance. When we look at the Houston Rockets, we look at the greatness of a James Harden. James Harden's averaging about 36 a game, and then everybody else falls off to some degree. You got 16, 17, that kind of thing. Again, I don't think it's going to happen. I certainly wouldn't pick them to beat the Golden State Warriors by any stretch of the imagination, but when you compare ridiculous to reasonable, I think it's closer to reasonable than ridiculous because of the manner in which we see CJ and Damian Lillard playing together. So I think you have to ask yourself the question, if Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, if we were able to sit here and say, these guys are going to average 29 and 28 respectively throughout these playoffs, is it ridiculous then? The answer to me would be no. It wouldn't be ridiculous then. I don't believe it would happen, but it wouldn't be ridiculous.
Certainly on that scale from reasonable to ridiculous, it's much closer to ridiculous. Okay. I love Charles as well. And he said several things, I think, in that clip which are true, which is the Portland Trail Blazers are extremely underrated. Their star, Damian Lillard, is criminally underrated. I believe he's probably the second best point guard in the NBA, assuming we take James Harden out of the year.
This year.
I got him this year as first team All-NBA at point guard.
Ahead of Steph Curry.
Yes.
But Harden's a point guard.
Not as a talent, because I'm always going to pick just this year because he's had to do more with less.
Taking Harden out of the equation, I would have gone Steph, then Lillard, then Kyrie.
Why are you taking Harden out, though?
Because I don't know.
I don't know exactly. I don't know.
They have Chris Paul. He didn't originally play point guard. He's not.
I know, but he's a point guard now.
All right. But the point of this in the end is it is ridiculous, Stephen A. And Max, even though it is, you went a little far in saying if every other team had every other player injured. The Blazers are real, and they can beat everybody in the West except for one team. And that's the issue. And ultimately, the reason Charles's prediction is ridiculous is because of the Warriors, not because of the Rockets, and honestly, not because of the Blazers. It's because the Warriors are still head and shoulders above everybody else. I saw you last night. I watched you last night. You did a great job.
Thank you.
You were asked, what do you expect to see from Kevin Durant? Dominance. And you got it. Right, you got it. And the thing about Kevin Durant that we saw last night is why you should always go back to the Warriors, because they play the right kind of basketball and their star wants to fit into the right kind of basketball.
Let me give you the huge gaping hole in your argument. We have all recognized, I know I got the Warriors, I believe you have the Warriors, but we've talked about how Houston has a chance. But you just said Portland has a chance to beat anybody else.
Well, hold on. The one mistake you made is I'm not somebody saying Houston has a chance.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. All right, fair enough. Well, then the hole is not gaping. But here's my argument. Portland doesn't have to play both of them. They only have to play one because they're going to knock out. One or the other is going to knock one another out. So let's just say hypothetically, I don't believe it. Max hasn't said it, but he gives Houston a chance. If Houston were to upset Golden State.
There you go.
Portland goes against the winner of Denver San Antonio, who I believe they could beat. So now you're in the conference finals against Houston. How is Charles Barkley's assertion ridiculous
They're not gonna
if
beat
they got a
Houston.
chance?
I'm telling you,
that's-
they're not
that's a
gonna beat
good-
I don't believe it either.
But let me-
I don't believe it either.
That's
but
really
they got a
good.
chance.
That's really good. The only thing for me is Houston's not going to beat Golden State.
I don't
No,
feel that way
I don't think
either.
they beat the Rockets either. By the way, the Rockets, since they've had their full complement of players, both by point differential and by record, the best
believe
team in the
Houston-
league.
I'm with you. I believe
And by the
Houston-
way, they took 7 games with the
I believe Houston or Golden State's coming out of the
Houston,
West.
7 games with the Warriors without Chris Paul,
Right.
missing 27 consecutive threes, lost by single digits. I know your counter argument to that one. Neil Olshey has done an incredible job. By the way, he was really good with the Clippers, and he's like redesigned this Portland
It's nice.
team.
I wouldn't say incredible. But go
I'd say
ahead.
incredible. He's redesigned the Portland team on the fly, like trading all their pieces and getting back and building around. He's done an incredible job. But again, the only way they really had a shot, and even that would make them a dark horse, is if Nurkic's development, which was coming along, it was going in the right direction, but then he's out now. So you're taking their third most important player out, and they would still be the underdogs with him? They ain't going to do it. Sorry, they ain't going to do it. And the Rockets, I think the Rockets are being criminally slept upon, by the way, especially with Boogie hurt right now. Now Clint Capella's not sucked out. He's a real rim defender. Are we sure that Draymond Green's better than Clint Capella right now?
All right.
The Rockets are real.
So they're going to have a dogfight, obviously, in this series, and we know they're not as good as the Warriors or Rockets.